Welcome back to the CUSA Tip-Off Show. We head on down to Georgia, talking some Kennesaw State hoops. We begin with the women. Last season, under Octavia Blue, this team 7-11 in conference play. They now enter their second season in the league. 8 newcomers, 6 transfers, but they're going to rely heavily on a returner. Preseason all-conference performer Kiara Berry back. She was second on the team in scoring and rebounding a season ago. This was also a team, remember, that won a game at the tournament in Huntsville. So something to build on now moving into this season. And we're pleased now to be joined by Octavia Blue and Kiara Berry. Thank you guys for making some time for us. We do appreciate it. Coach, we talk about all the newcomers that you guys have on this squad. I guess first, who kind of has stood out so far early in practice, and how are you getting all these new folks to kind of understand your culture and the standard that you have at your program?
No, great to be here. Thank you for having us both. To talk about a couple players that have stood out pretty early here, as far as the newcomers are concerned, is Kaylin Flowers. We got a transfer, played limited minutes for Florida Gulf Coast last year in the ASUN Conference. And then also LaTasia Williamson, who we got in from Memphis. Been very impressive here in the preseason. And as you mentioned, with so many newcomers, 2 freshmen, 6 transfers, you know, chemistry is a huge thing. And that's something that we're working to build each and every day with our practices. And then we spent a lot of time together this summer to try to build that chemistry.
Coach, that young lady sitting next to you was your first recruit, and I know she is the quintessential program kid. And how important has she been, not just for establishing your culture, but also as a recruiting piece for those players coming into Kennesaw State?
I mean, you said it. She was our first recruit. I mean, I was just selling her a vision at the time. You know, I had just gotten the job, and I had it all laid out, and she believed in it. As soon as she stepped foot on campus, she's just worked really hard to become a better player on and off the court, and you saw it in her numbers. Each year, her numbers have just gone up, and she really had a breakthrough season last year for us. So talk about the standard and the culture. She's the definition of it. I always mention that Kiara Berry plays with so much joy. Just fun to watch on the court, and she is the definition of a Kennesaw State women's basketball player.
Kiara, I know there was no sure thing you were going to get this season. You weren't sure if you were going to have eligibility. I think until August. So with that in mind, how grateful are you for this opportunity, and what are your goals now, knowing this is it? This is the last go-round.
I'm very grateful to have this year back. During the process, I was just praying to God, keeping in contact with everybody.
Yeah.
Praying that I had this year back. And for my goals this year is just to set the tone again. We had a little taste of last season, first time in the conference. So this year we kind of know better of the conference. So I'm just ready to get started.
So, Kiara, I'm going to give you a chance to brag on your head coach. I know you guys have a special relationship, and you've helped lay the foundation here. How important has she been for you to develop you not only as a player, but as a person?
She's been very important. From the first time I got here, I knew I wanted to play for her. I love the pace she brings on the court. I love the way she lets us, you know, she coaches us hard, but I know it's all love. She wants the best for us on and off the court.
Coach, second season in the conference. How different is that now, the second go-around, compared to trying to learn everything year one in a new league?
Well, I think familiarity always helps. We know the teams a little bit better, familiar with the coaches and their style of play, but this league is loaded. You got to bring your A game each and every night. You have the usual suspects at the top, but then added Missouri State to the conference, and obviously Louisiana Tech is a great team this year. I mean, you just got to show up every night ready to play. There's no given night where you think you can get a W on the win side.
Last thing, Coach, I heard about the Owl Olympics. What kind of events are we talking about? What it sounds like a team building deal, but what kind of events, what kind of competitions are we working with here?
Yeah, so we took the ladies to end our summer workouts. We took the ladies out on the field, and we had some water bucket relays. We had a balloon fight. It was a little bit of competition, but a lot of fun. Had a chance to eat together and have some popsicles out in the sun, but it was a fun time.
That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we appreciate the time. Can't wait to watch what your team becomes here over the season, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's make the turn. First, talk a little bit, Kelly, about just this team and what they are this season. We talk about all the newcomers. A returner that we didn't mention there, Trent Taylor, who missed all of this past season, how impactful can she be for this squad? She's been in the program, but just unavailable last year.
Yeah, she was an all-freshman performer when she stepped on campus at Kennesaw State, and then she got injured. So she had to watch all season last year. And, you know, sometimes that can take a kid down. But for Trent Taylor, everything we've heard is she was a sponge last year. She was one of the loudest voices on that sideline. Sometimes you turn into a coach. You know, you start hearing the coaches, you get in those huddles, you see the game a little differently. And I think she, along with some of those returners, they are going to be those loud vocal pieces. And we heard that even this summer coming in, especially alongside Barry, is those two in particular have been the leaders and are setting the tone for this team.
We mentioned it being the second year in the conference. You know, that first season, you're trying to figure out new travel. You're trying to figure out new coaches and their styles of play. Is it overrated or underrated, a second season and how much just more normal it can feel?
No, I don't think it's underrated at all. I think, you know, Coach says we've not been here before, right?
Yeah.
So there's no excuses anymore. I think last year you could say, okay, this is a new style of play. These are new players that we have to, you know, scout. Yeah. But now it's all about their preparation. They know what to expect. They have to put the time in the gym, and I know they will because I know Coach Blue. But they also have to, you know, they've got to know the scouting report every time they go into a game. So nothing is new anymore, and they have some great mainstays in the program, but they've added some good pieces. So I'm really excited to see them, especially, as you mentioned, coming off that first win in the tournament.
Yeah, don't undersell that. That experience could be critical for them going into this season. All right, appreciate it, Kelly. All right, we turn now to the men, and they were fantastic. By the end of the season, there were a few teams playing better ball than the Kennesaw State men under Antoine Petway, one of the rising young coaches in the country. Simeon Cottle was a stud for them. He's back, preseason Player of the Year. Who's not back? Well, that's Adrian Woolley, the freshman phenom from a season ago. They do have another freshman that had a fantastic rookie season, Braden Liu. He's back with the program, and they added some key transfers as well. Preseason pick, second in the league. High expectations once again for the Owls this year. All right, pleased to be joined by Kennesaw State head coach Antoine Petway and the preseason player of the year in the conference, Simeon Cottle, as well. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Coach, are people starting to realize what you're building there? Last 4 years, no D1 school in the state of Georgia has more wins than Kennesaw State. Do you feel like people are finally starting to recognize what you're doing there?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, I think it started with Coach Amir, you know, coming in after him, man. He's a trailblazer. He did such an amazing job getting this program going, and then we just tried to continue his success he started. But I do think people are starting to notice that, you know, this is a great place to come play basketball. It's a great place to come watch basketball. So we're excited about it, but we got a lot of work to continue to do.
Coach, in this era of players moving all over the place, some of the coaches are going after transfers. You went heavily on some freshmen. Talk to us about that, the thought process and philosophy there.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to do it a little bit different. I think, like you said, with the landscape in college basketball, a lot of teams are going after transfer portal guys. Where I want to build it with quality high school guys that I can bring in and then show them our standard. You know, our standard of play, who we are, how we conduct ourselves, and it's worked for us, man. We brought Adrian Woolley in, we brought a kid, Braden Liu, Jamil Miller, Ramon Sears. It's been really good to us. So my staff does a great job going out evaluating high quality players, but we also look at the character and their work ethic. And, you know, I think we struck gold with this group we have this year.
Simeon, preseason player of the year. I know you start the season 10th on the all-time D1 scoring list at Kennesaw State. Has it hit you? You're an Owl legend already. Like, has that hit you yet? And what more do you still want to accomplish?
Just going back and making it to that big name, that's a big goal of mine. It was a wonderful experience, and it's an experience that I want to experience with a new group.
Simeon, talking about player movement, you are a guy that absolutely could have gone other places. Your opponents are probably wishing you went other places.
A lot of people in the conference are wishing.
Let me tell you something. I'm glad you're back. I think that's great for the conference. Tell us, though, about that process of how you went through that decision. What do you love about that program where you said, I'm staying here, this is my home?
I'm homegrown, and I'm a loyal person. When I first got here and we had that conversation, I just knew, like, I fell in love with what he had for me and the vision he had for me. It's just like, it was a no-brainer. I don't think any other program would just have caught my eye and my heart just like Pitt did. So it was just like second nature, just staying home. And me and they were playing in front of my parents and everybody that could come see me play.
That's great.
Can't put a price on that. Coach, you talked about last season, and Adrian Woolley's so good. Braden Lue kind of got the short end of the stick sometimes. He was like overshadowed. Like, how good was he? How much better can he become this season in his second year under you?
Yeah, no, Braden Lue's special. I like to tell guys, like, if Adrian Woolley wasn't on our team last year, Braden Lue would have been freshman of the year. So we had the top 2 freshmen in Conference USA. And the thing I say about B. Lue, he works. Like, that's something like that's a standard in our program. The work is the work. You get your confidence from the work. The kid lives in the gym. And so I think you just saw the tip of the iceberg with him, man. He's going to get better. He's gotten better. He's gotten stronger. And he wants to be really, really good. He takes coaching like he's going to be a staple in our program. So we're looking for him to have a big-time year, man. But we got a group of guys that we fight. We fight, we believe. And that's, no matter who we bring in, the standard's the standard. We're going to fight. We're going to believe. Every time you come into the Convocation Center, you better be ready for a brawl. That's our mindset.
You're getting me fired up.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, Naz. I'm about ready to just throw a forearm into Naz right now. You got me fired up. Listen, 6 freshmen, they seem to grow up quick there at Kennesaw. We're excited to see what this team can become throughout the year. We appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you. Go Owls.
There you go. Naz, listen, we talk about the youngsters, but first let's talk about the core that's coming back. That's why this team is preseason picked second in the league, because of what is coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the benefits that Liberty has. Same thing with Kennesaw. When you bring back guys like Simeon Cottle, Braden Lue, you mentioned Miller.
Yeah.
Having those guys, again, aside from the production and the scoring and rebounding. Yeah. They're guys that believe in that system. They love it. They love how Coach Petway coaches them hard.
You can see that, yeah.
Yeah, and so having that, they're ahead of the game, adding some of those newcomers to it. And, yeah, Coach mentioned they're on to something there with, guys that will commit to come in as freshmen and be trained and learn the ways and player development. It's huge.
And then you start, the energy from Coach Petway, what he's building there, the emotion he coaches with, like that, you hear teams take on the character of their coach.
Yes.
You see that in the way that they play. They're an extension of him on the court.
Yeah, they really do. So again, they're really a great team. One thing that I really feel is like Simeon Cottle and Adrian Woolley, they were such great players.
Yeah.
I think they overshadowed what a really solid team they were. If you look down those finishing stats of the conference, they were up at the top. They did a lot of great things defensively, offensively. So they're better than just a couple scorers.
Yeah.
And so you're right. How they play, they've got good fundamentals. They know how to play the game, but they play it with such energy and emotion. And, we saw them just hit their stride as conference ended, how they went into the tournament. They're just a few baskets from making that championship game. I fully expect them to have another great year.
Yeah, they made a lot of noise in Huntsville. Wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again. Speaking of Huntsville, you know what? Great place to be come March. You should be there as well. Take a look, Probst Arena, March 10th through 14th, Huntsville, Alabama. Tickets are on sale now for the CUSA Championships, men's and women's, both there. Come join us. It'll be a great time in Huntsville, Alabama in mid-March. Well, speaking of championships, we check in with the reigning CUSA champions next, and they just so happen to reside in Lynchburg, Virginia. We're talking Liberty basketball. On the other side, don't go anywhere.